We're now at episode 6 of the Daily Dozen, spotlighting high school players to watch in Arizona for the 2016 season. That's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen. We normally bring you the recruiting roundup, powered by Rock and Refuel. Jason, let's get started. A West Side playmaker to get us going.
Yeah, Verrado High School had one of the breakout seasons last year, and they were led by a sophomore at the time, Jatai Jenkins, an all-section performer last year for Verrado, had over 1,000 yards of total offense. And if Verrado wants to continue on the trend, the upward trend that they've had in winning a bunch of football games and being a West Side power, they're going to rely on Jenkins in this 2016 season.
Last year, Johnny Johnson transferred to Chandler from the West Side, and people wondered how he would be able to contribute in his first season with the Wolves because N'Keal Harry was there, Chase Lucas, Mason Moran, they had Colby Taylor, all these different names. But Johnny Johnson ended up emerging as one of the most reliable receivers in the Wolves offense a year ago. He had over 500 yards receiving, and he's going to have a monster year as one of the main guys on the outside opposite Colby Taylor in that Wolves offense.
Yeah, and he just added his 10th scholarship offer from the University of Montana. So my guy that I'm going to start with is Mike King Johnson, one of the premier guys that knows how to get to the quarterback in the state, one of the premier pass rushers. 22 sacks last year, has big-time offers over there at Tempe High School, has schools just racing in to go see him. He has USC, he's got Arizona State, big-time offers, like I mentioned, Texas A&M as well. He's a kid, also a great kid, 3.5 GPA, 6'3", 220-pound kid that knows how to get to the quarterback.
Roshan Johnson, can't believe he is a senior. Remember watching his freshman film years ago, and he was going to be a future star, and sure enough, he's lived up to the billing. A state champion now, two-way player, running back and linebacker. But man, when he has the football in his hand, he makes plays. He had 14 touchdowns a year ago. He is being recruited at the next level as a linebacker as well. They'll play him both ways. Desert Edge has a really talented group on offense. I think it's also on defense where Desert Edge will separate themselves to be a state champion contender again. And again, it's hard to believe that his career is going to be coming to an end because it feels like we've been watching him forever.
And we know that Chandler High School is just loaded with athletes and loaded with speed, but it's like the rich got richer when Ryan Johnson moved in from Michigan to Chandler High School last year. I mean, this is a kid that's versatile, plays some running back, can play in the slot, and again, just lights out fast. Not real tall, but once he gets the ball in his hands, and it's a threat to score at any time. Has Division I offers from Eastern Michigan and multiple other schools, and a guy that, at Chandler, we know that they're absolutely loaded, so maybe he's not going to put up the huge numbers that if he was at a different school with all these playmakers, but he's going to be a Division I guy.
Tyler Johnson, in his time at Highland High School, and the games I've seen or the games I've watched on film, I've watched him play wide receiver, tight end, running back. Then on defense, I've seen him play defensive end, defensive back, and then special teams, punt returner, kick returner. This is just one of those guys, Jason, that's such a freak athlete that you just got to put him somewhere and give him the ball and allow him to make plays. He is one of the most versatile, impressive athletes that this state has to offer, and one of the most highly recruited players out of the state of Arizona for the 2017 class.
Yeah, Desert Edge last year, they won that state championship behind their massive offensive line, and Tyson Jones, one of those young kids, was only a sophomore last year, starting for Desert Edge, going to move out and play left tackle this year. I mentioned only going to be a junior. He's 6'3", he's 300 pounds, and on top of that, he is one of the best throwers in the shot put. He threw over 60 feet last year as a sophomore, which is virtually unheard of.
Jawar Jordan, so we saw all these video game numbers from his freshman season at Hamilton, and we were hoping to see how it would translate to the varsity level his sophomore year last year, and he didn't disappoint. Fantastic playmaker. He's going to now be the feature back for the Huskies this season as a junior. Added some offers in the offseason, including one from Oklahoma State. I'm really excited to see Jawar Jordan make plays with a lot more touches this year.
Hey, Jared, we love the small school football players, too. And
absolutely.
We're going to talk about an 8-man player. We got Justin Karchner, a tight end DN from Pima. He's a guy, he's 6'5", weighs 200 pounds, got to the quarterback 9 times last year, and he's also an all-state basketball player as well as being an all-state football player.
Ryan Kelly, top quarterback prospect in the state of Arizona, committed to Arizona State, and like a lot of the guys that we've mentioned the last couple episodes, Jason, what more is there to be said that hasn't already been said? But last year, over 2,600 passing yards, 20 touchdowns. And you know what an unrated fact about Ryan Kelly is? He can run. He's an impressive runner when he decides to put the ball in his hands, keep it, and run down the field. Bash is going to be explosive once again offensively, and it's going to be behind the now senior Ryan Kelly.
So Matt Kempton, tight end over at Brophy High School, son of former NBA player Tim Kempton. He's a guy that is a versatile tight end. He's not a put your hand down on the ground and block you kind of guy, but he's a guy that is 6'3". He's over 200 pounds, he has above average speed, and he has an early offer from Northern Arizona. And I like the transition he's made and the changing of his body since last year. He's gained some weight and is transitioning to be that H-back tight end body at the college level.
Deacon Lorita to finish this episode of the Daily Dozen out of Ironwood Ridge High School, the younger brother of Chase Lorita, who's now up at Northern Arizona. And watching Lorita on film a year ago, his brother was being recruited and a lot more attention was on him, but you would leave games or watch games noticing, wow, younger brother Lorita is pretty impressive. He has great instincts at the linebacker position, very active, a lot of tackles, and I think this kid could ultimately end up being a Division I prospect as well. That's it for episode 6 of the 2016 Daily Dozen.